Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks on to FT Live right now for the first time. Corbin, great to have you on, dude. Congratulations on, a pretty solid first full season in the big leagues. Now that you've got a little time to let it all reflect. How you doing, man? Thanks for the time. How's the offseason?
Doing well. Yeah, good to talk to you guys. Off season's going well. Back up in Seattle right now for a little bit, just spending Thanksgiving up here with my family and then headed back to Arizona, get back to work.
Have you been able to kind of pinch yourself and look at the past year here? So Todd likes to ask about goals. I wonder what your goals were a year ago, right? Pre big contract, pre obviously making it to the World Series, winning the Rookie of the Year and the outstanding rookie on the Players' Choice side too. Like, did you have goals heading into the year? I'll steal your question, Todd.
For sure. I always try and set big goals, almost unattainable goals. But even this year, some of the personal success, team success we had, just blew me away. And all I try and do in the moment is be grateful for it. I think it's a little harder when you're in the moment, but now kind of looking back on it, taking a step back, just really proud of our group and the amazing year we were able to accomplish.
Hey, I saw the other day, again, congratulations. What a playoff run you had. What a year you had. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, sky's the limit for you this year, man. Fun watching you. Now, talking or actually seeing on TV, Torey Lovullo was kind of got emotional a little bit after you won. He's rocking the jersey there, man, said he loved you, man. How did that feel coming from your manager, man? Because not a lot of managers do that. They don't express their feelings towards players, and they don't, give the love and shout out, man. How did it feel knowing that your manager, for one, has your back and is showing that much love towards you?
Yeah, Torey's the best, man. During that speech, I was more thinking about the fact that I was going to have to give a speech after that. And so my mind was more there. But, for him to share, that's what he's so good at, right? Just showing that he cares. He does it throughout the year, to us as a group and to us personally. And so I think that's why guys like playing for him.
Hey, Corbin, when you look back to how you were drafted and became a part of this team, I think, and I've been a part of the draft for years, like almost every ball club is like, dude, this guy has all the tools. And I'm sure you've heard this before, and this is part of what I'm getting to. I'm curious how many teams were like, well, you're undersized, so I'm not sure, right? I know with the Diamondbacks, Mike Hazen is like, I do a lot of thanking every day that, what were you, the 16th pick, that 15 teams went past Corbin because he's like, he was the best guy or one of the best guys on our board, and we were shocked that he made it that far. And I've also looked into, the front office with Amiel Sadeh, who's the assistant GM, and I know he was part of Boston. I think he was part of picking like Mookie Betts and even Benintendi and some other undersized players. So has that conversation come up with Arizona? And did you hear any of that really shit talking, I guess, from teams being like, oh, you're undersized, so we're going to punish you and not take you in the first round?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you've got to look at it. Obviously, at the end of the day, everyone's trying to do their job as best they can. And that, for 15 teams, I wasn't the right choice for them. I'm really happy with where I ended up. I love this front office. They've had, they've been really good to me personally since the day I was drafted. And so for them to now be in place long term, that makes me feel good about the direction that we're headed.
Hey, so I found out some things about you. I was asking a couple of your teammates just a little bit ago. Well, I'm going to first start with Evan Longoria. So I said, hey, talk to me about this young man. You're smiling already. I played with Evan in the Cape Cod League, and he was
wow.
really good. He was really good then, and then eventually played against you. We were still close now, and he brought up how you have a family member that might be even a better athlete than you, talking about your sister, man. And talk about that. I heard about what's her name? Campbell? Is that her name?
Yes, sir. Yep, Campbell.
And she's a good soccer player, right? Is she the best athlete in the family?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, she's a senior in high school this year. She just signed her NLI. She's going to go play some soccer in the now ACC, I guess, at Cal Berkeley. A little weird there, but yeah, she's always been my biggest supporter, and so I've always tried to return the favor, coming home in off seasons and making sure I get out to her high school soccer season. Those are some of my best memories, of just being able to watch her and support her.
Yeah. Hey, Corbin. Hey, first off, man, congrats on a great year, dude. I'm a big fan. Love watching you play. Wish I was as talented as you. But I want to go back to Torey, because I got to spend a few years with Torey. He was our bench coach in Boston, and I've said it on this show before. I tell it to everyone who asks. He's a top 2 person for me. Maybe number 1. I've got Brian Butterfield and I've got Torey Lovullo as my 1 and 2 people I've ever met in baseball. I was a young player coming up, with Boston when he was our bench coach, and he was just that guy that he would tell you like it was. He cared for you. He'd let you know what was going on. So for me, he's a big part of my career and my just my kind of growing up in the game. And I want to know from you, how is it having him as a manager, as a young player, and also we just got an extension, good for Torey. Mike Hazen knows what he's doing. So just talk to me a little bit about Torey Lovullo and what he means to you.
Yeah, Torey, he's the right leader for our group. I think the best thing you can say about him is he's the same guy every day, and that was going to the World Series, and that was a 110 loss season. He's just very true to himself, very true to his values and what he believes in. And that's a big compliment to him. But I'd say, something that describes my personal relationship with him was in 2021, I'd played 7 games above the low A level. I'd met him once at BP when I'd signed with the organization in 2019. And, multiple times throughout that 2021 year, I spent the whole year on the shelf, and multiple times, he's calling, checking in, texting, a guy that's, 3 levels away from even playing a day with him. And so I think that just speaks to the way that he operates. It's special.
Let me ask you this. I saw you were with Derek Jeter at the World Series. You were walking out with him, did a little feature. Were you a Derek Jeter fan? How cool was that to be walking out with one of Yankees legends right there?
I've actually got his bobblehead in my room from when I was growing up. It's not even a bobblehead, honestly. It's a little figurine of him. He's on this little grass and dirt patch, and it's got like his bats, sticking off the ground. It's probably still in my room right now. I could probably still find it. But yeah, that was a cool moment for me.
Corbin, being that you're signed with this team long term, how much are you going to pay attention to transactions, say in the offseason? Like, Ken Rosenthal's joining us after you. Are you going to be glued to your phone to see if Kenny Ballgame's making any reports on signings for the Diamondbacks? Because even, Mike Hazen himself, GM of the team, said at the end of last year, like he wished he got one more starter for the ball club at the trade deadline. He's like kind of kicking himself about it, which I appreciate the transparency on.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to have that moment in the off season where it's like, yes, like we got better today. But I think what's cool about this team too is how young we are, right? And how much of that growth is going to occur naturally just from our younger players getting better. A lot of starters, position players as well. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm definitely excited. It seems like there's, a little room in between where our budget's at now and where it has been traditionally. So, be interesting to see what happens.
All right, Corbin, with that being said, let's go ahead and tell Mike, out of all the free agents out there, who does Corbin Carroll want the Diamondbacks to sign? Who do we want?
Besides Ohtani?
Besides Ohtani, because that's an obvious answer. Okay? But if you want Ohtani, you can have him. Okay, we'll just have to make a phone call to Hayes.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting one. I'd say that I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there's a couple starting pitchers that I feel like are really good ball players and you know would make any team they went to better. And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they come up with and
All
how
right.
creative they are.
So basically, Shohei Ohtani is what you're saying.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's a good answer. We need starting pitching. Everybody needs starting pitching. I like it.
Hey, who's the leader in that clubhouse? If I had to ask you right now, who's the guy that is like, all right, we need to lean on this guy as we move forward, because it looked like you guys were just smooth sailing, cruising, just having fun. And you went to Philly and dominated because nobody else could do that in Philadelphia. So, who is that leader, that guy that you lean on during the season?
No, it's an interesting question because last year there was a pretty definite answer. It was Evan Longoria. Um, I think our whole team rallied around him and just the leader that he is. I'd say, for the first half of the year as well, Nick Ahmed played a big role. But going forward, a couple players that would come to mind um, would be Paul Sewald, Kevin Ginkel, um, Christian Walker, and I'll throw a young guy in there, Perdomo. Perdomo's got some real good leadership qualities to him as well. That just he gets the guys to kind of rally.
I like that. So Corbin, in about a week, our show's going to be in Vegas at one of the Players Trust events, which will have like, I don't know, 30, 40 players there. And I looked at the list the other day, and one of them is your teammate. Well, I know he's a free agent. Well, you're going to be there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be there. So that's one. We'll say hi to you in person. What?
But I got a teammate there?
Do you know who it is?
Maybe future teammate?
No, it's kind of a past teammate because he's a free agent.
It's got to be Tommy. It's Tommy. Tommy lives there.
Tommy Pham, yeah. So in case we don't see you before we talk to Tommy, and we've interviewed him before on this show, something that we should ask him based on being his teammate and being around him the last few months, or something you noticed in the postseason, like, Tommy. I mean, I've been around him enough already where I'm doing a game with a former teammate of his, and he'll start going off on a topic for a while about the game. So did you guys have any good, really deep conversations? And is there anything, that he's passionate about that we should bring up to him?
Oof. I picked his brain on some eye training stuff, and just he's got a good knowledge of the eyeball, so I picked his brain on some stuff there. But I'd say you should ask him about his remote control car, his RC car.
Okay, good to know. Did he bring it into the clubhouse?
That thing was ripping around Chase Field after we clinched, I think, or maybe a round of the playoffs. That thing was going about 100 across the outfield.
All
right, perfect. We'll ask him.
Speaking of that, did you have to get a new phone after jumping in the pool? Speaking of the playoffs, like I remember seeing you still got it, man. Look at that.
Name one.
Waterproof.
I will say that the Face ID was down for the count for a little bit, but came back to life after about a month.
Did we get a good video? Is that what you're doing? Were you selfieing, jumping into the pool, or what? If so, can we see the video?
First time I had we had a whole pool party, and I had no pictures or anything to celebrate, and so figured got to bring it out this time. Just kind of save some of those good memories.
Hell yeah, man.
Hey, go ahead, Todd.
Go ahead, I'll go. What else are you good at besides baseball, man? Are you growing up anything good? And there's a reason why I'm asking this, but is there anything else that, like, man, this guy could do everything, or is there something that you excelled in as well besides baseball?
Well, it definitely wasn't basketball, I'll tell you that. But I played a little soccer growing up. At a pretty competitive level, and then actually more of like a long distance runner.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I thought you were going to say a pool player, because talking with Alec Thomas, he said you've been taking his money ever since you guys started playing pool. So you want to let him know who the boss is on the billiards.
Oh man, well I haven't taken his money because he still hasn't paid me.
Oh no! I got to text him now. That's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, man. But I'd say I'm in the mid tier. I've got a pool table at my house, and the guys will either live with me or come over and play. And I'd say I'm in that mid tier. We've got a couple guys who, I'm more in the Alec boat versus them, and then I'll take advantage of Alec.
Hey, yeah, let him know right now on the show because I'm gonna send it to him. Let him know, man. Pay me my money, man. Let's go here.
He said once I signed my contract, it was over. I was never getting that money.
Oh,
that's what I was going to bring up. Like, obviously, the young dudes are going to give you shit because they're going to be like, I get a mulligan or a freebie because, 8 years, 111. You're good, dude. So how much did that change your lifestyle? And, I want to know, did you celebrate? Like, did you make a big purchase? Did you at least do like a dinner with a toast? Because life was coming at you fast, right? Like the season's just starting. I think it was either was it right before the season started?
Yeah, no, I mean you hit it right in the head. It was right before the season started, and then I was way more focused on, hey, this is my first full year, than like anything in terms of necessarily like what that kind of a contract could afford me. There's some conversations with my financial people, obviously, to just get a better framework, and there had been as those negotiations have been going on, and so, but I mean, honestly, the only thing I did was set a new budget and kind of rolled from there, and now having to catch a moment to catch my breath after the season, some of that stuff is coming back up, and able to just really dive in and understand kind of the smart way to treat something like that.
Did you pay for a lot of dinners for the young guys during the season?
Yeah. I tried probably more early on. Tailed off a little bit in the probably the last couple months, but yeah, definitely the first half of the season, at least once a road trip. We're getting a group of the guys and going out. Just having a good night.
Where you guys going out? Are you hitting Sizzler? Or are you going to a nice steakhouse? Where you guys hitting? Where
Applebee's.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, we hit a couple different spots, but I'd say definitely some steakhouses and some Asian. Those were
Do you
probably
have
the number one, number two.
Do you have any like good spots on the road where it's like, all right, now I know after my first year, I'm going to this restaurant every time I go to this place?
Yeah, I made a whole kind of map on my phone, and would eventually, maybe like to kind of make a player's guide to food,
Love that.
to
Love
pass
that.
down to the younger guys coming up. I think that'd be something really really cool to do. But the spot, I'd said there's one spot in San Francisco that I don't even have to mention it. Like before we get there, the guys are like, "Can we go to Akiko's? Can we go to Akiko's?" It's this little hole in the wall sushi spot, maybe 15-minute walk from our hotel, and so a lot of the times we'll pop over there and have a good meal.
Beautiful.
Corbin, what's one thing that you wish you were told before entering the big leagues? Like it could be super big or super small. It could be something on the field. It could be, something just with day-to-day life where you were like, oh, I wish someone told me about this, or maybe someone did tell you about something once you got to the big leagues. Like, oh, I wish they told me how much I need to tip, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say the tipping one's a good one. I'd say just having an understanding of the dress and how that changes from being at home to being on the road. Those are probably the two that stand out.
Did you freak out when you saw the stolen base rules that were going to be put in place in the big leagues? Because, that was pretty cool for your first full season. And Todd Father was all over it. I will say, as soon as we had that official, and we were heading into the year, Todd's like, we're going to get a 70 stolen base, dude, right off the jump. Obviously, numbers are going to go up. We knew that, but I think they went up more than most people thought they would. And that's year one. Now you have an off season to even think about it and put goals in place and maybe even come up with more ways to take advantage of those new rules.
No, for sure. Well, I had played with them the year before in the minor leagues. And so I thought I had a pretty good understanding. But, you know, even in the minor leagues, I think that year before, I think I stole right around 30 bases. And granted, that was in less games, but just all to say that getting to work with our outfield and base running coach, Dave McKay, and just getting more comfortable out there, understanding the game of base running, the art of base running. You know, I can't give him enough credit for what he's done for me and so many other guys.
Yeah, Corbin. So 2550 is what we had this year, right? 2550,
Yeah.
and Scott just said with the whole offseason we're going to get better. So what are we going for next year? Are we going 30-60? Are we going Acuna? What are we going to do? Because I know you got it in you.
Oof, that's a good question. I will say that I had like a period of I think about 2 weeks where I was given the red light because I'd banged up my knee and couldn't, you know, just was out there, you know, just trying to get through that. And so I feel like there's more in the tank.
Heck yeah. So it's Torey's fault. Torey gave you the red light.
That was for my own good. I mean, my knee was pretty nasty looking. So no, I said thank you.
Well, they did a good job preserving you because it carried through, man. And I know you guys didn't finish the way you wanted to, but had a pretty damn good year to make it all the way to the World Series in year one. Really, first full season, I should say, of your big league career. So it's great having you on here for the first time. We'll see you out in Vegas, dude. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Yeah, see you out in Vegas.
Cheers. Thanks, Corbin.